Welcome back to Miles Around. It's time for our second in the driver's seat, and this week it's the Chevy Aveo. Or I'm told it's called Aveo, however. This is an entry-level vehicle, first seen in 2004, with a complete redesign for 2007. Now, if you're looking for leather seats and high uptown luxury, you probably won't find it in this vehicle, will you, Dennis?
No, but what you will find is something that a lot of people are looking for. The popularity of the $10,000 to $15,000 car market has really soared due to, of course, gas prices being around $3 a gallon. Now, this vehicle, as it is, in a segment, Honda, Toyota, Nissan already have cars in the segment. The domestics, on the other hand, don't really have a lot to offer. Chrysler and Ford don't have an entry-level vehicle at this price range, but Chevy does. This little vehicle starts around $10,000 and can top out around $14,000.
Inside, E-Tech 2 16-valve engine. Says it right here, E-Tech 2 16-valve. That's how I know. However, you know what I noticed about this car? If I take this engine out, I'm not even sure there's enough room for you here in the engine compartment, not even to do a Fred Flintstone.
Well, unfortunately for you and lucky for everyone else, I left my loincloth at home. But if you wanted to know the real facts, it's a 1.6-liter dual overhead cam 4-cylinder motor. Produces about 103 horsepower. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot of horsepower, but I don't think the buyers of this type of car really care. They're more importantly, they're intrigued by the fact that they can get a domestic vehicle that gets 27 and 37 ratings on the EPA ratings for fuel mileage. Why does that matter, Nick?
Well, I tell you, I just came back from England, where you will pay approximately $8 a gallon of gas. So out of your C note, maybe $4 change on filling this car up?
Well, that means a full tank of gas, a big gulp, and maybe a candy bar. But really, when you're talking about fuel mileage, this little vehicle has just over a 12-gallon tank. In the United States, that means about $40 to fill it up. But more importantly, you get about 450 miles out of that tank of gas. When talking about the appearance of the new Chevy Aveo, you have to take into consideration that it's more of an in-house design now. The original Aveo was actually an Italian design, and its outsourced looks, though distinctive, weren't part of the Chevrolet family. And when you look at this new one, you definitely see some of the big sister or big brother attitude from the Impala, the Cobalt, and other vehicles in the lineup. Down below, definitely an Impala-esque front end with a lower valance. You definitely see the Malibu in the grille, and you can't but mistake these headlights being right out of the Cobalt group. Now, that isn't bad. I think it's smart marketing by GM to kind of group their vehicles together as far as appearance. Now, moving down the vehicle, you do have these well, they're bolt-on caps. And you know what? We'll just leave it at that, that the first thing you need to do after you buy one is go down to the wheel store. We'll let GM have a pass on that one. Now, nice little European-esque marker light, and it does have some nice monochromatic things in the door panels and the grille.
It's really nice to see the door handle is the same color as the vehicle. It's not some sort of fake chrome or some kind of black plastic. Door is well shaped. There's several lines in the door and almost this fake sill back here. If you take a look at the back of the vehicle, you know what I like? This vehicle has a huge trunk space, and I'm only 5'4". I'm a little bit of an Oompa Loompa, but look how tall this vehicle is to me. It actually has quite a lot of headroom inside.
With 12.4 cubic feet of space in the rear, it's up about 7 or 8% more than last year's model, and it does come with a couple things I want to mention. One is a standard 60/40 split rear seat, and it does come with full seat anchors for the baby seats. Now, as a father of a small baby, I always look for those things in new vehicles. It shouldn't be anything but standard on anything with 4 wheels.
Let's take a look inside the vehicle. I want to show you a couple of things. First of all, doors are fairly wide. I can get in and out of this vehicle fairly easily. The seats are fairly cheaply made, but also a very durable material. So I wouldn't have too much trouble putting my family in the back of one of these. If you look right there below the windshield, you can see it has a little clock, which is viewable without taking your eyes off the road. Now, isn't that fantastic?
Now, this standard radio is the same standard radio in cars that cost twice as much from Chevrolet. I don't know why that sticks out to me, but it just does. Now, when you're talking about materials on the inside, they are a little bit dull, and they're a little bit, I don't want to say cheap, but they're certainly not upscale. People that are looking at vehicles like this aren't going to find wood. They're not going to find stainless, aluminum trim, but they are going to find a lot of standard issue things. such as air conditioning with an air filtration system. It does have a rear window defrogger that is standard, as well as a tilt steering wheel, floor mats front and rear. They do have cloth seats, and they do have a recline and tilt headrest. Nice thing about it is it does come with an armrest for the driver's seat, and again, like I'd mentioned, that stereo, 4 speakers, and an auxiliary input jack. As Nick mentioned, it does have the digital clock and the 60/40 split fold-down rear seat that we talked about earlier. Nice thing for the ladies, and I know my wife always looks for this first, is it does have vanity mirrors on both sides, driver and passenger, and it does have a remote trunk release as well as a fuel filler release with a lever inside, so you don't have to get out to pop the gas lid for the gas attendant. Now, this vehicle is the standard base price of the $11,380. It has absolutely 0 options on it. The total options on the particular car we're sitting in was exactly $0.00. But with destination, it does have an as-tested price of $12,395. In today's market, as Nick said, $8 a gallon, $50,000 support utilities, high insurance payments. I think you're going to find what you're looking for in this new Chevy Aveo.
Here are the guys that make miles around possible. The Russ Auto Group, Baxter Auto Parts, Northside Ford, Ray Reese Dealerships, 4-Wheel Parts Performance Center, Grand Prix Imports, and J. Lee's Auto Group. Thanks, guys.